According to Shams, this is the NBA 2022 Christmas Day schedule. See, you got the Bucks at the Celtics, the Sixers at the Knicks, the Suns at the Nuggets, Lakers at the Mavericks, Grizzlies at the Warriors. So Christmas Day is always a big deal when it comes to the NBA, right? You got games slated for the entire day. It's usually the marquee games, the big primetime games, all of the top teams in the league going at it on a Christmas Day showdown, right? It's been part of the league forever at this point. And the NBA's job is to get the most views during that time. You know, you're hanging out with family, you finish up the gifts and that stuff, throw on some dinner, you're screaming at the TV. It's a great time. You know, Merry Christmas, right? As it usually goes. But one thing about this schedule, this is just a rumored schedule. This is just a, schedule that could change at any point, especially if trades like, Kyrie Irving goes to the Lakers and Kevin Durant goes to the Celtics. I imagine that they will change that, and these two will be facing each other on Christmas Day because, again, they want the marquee matchups. They want the ones like what are going to get butts and seats and eyeballs on the TV screens, and this game would do that. So I could see that being changed. If Donovan Mitchell goes to a specific team, if he goes to like Miami or something, or, the Knicks, then Knicks are already a part of it. But if he goes to a team that's not, then maybe they get the primetime game. It just depends on how it shapes up. But looking at like where the landscape is as far as the NBA goes and these slated games, I imagine that they're not really going to change. It's probably pretty locked in unless, like I said, Lakers and Celtics end up pulling off these trades. Then I could see them kind of flipping that around and maybe changing the Lakers and the Celtics playing each other. But that being said, let's dive into some of these games, starting with the Celtics and Bucks. Now, these two teams are very likely going to be the two top teams in the Eastern Conference. This should be one of the better matchups, in my opinion, right? And it is the game that led to the Miami Heat and then the Celtics ultimately going to the NBA Finals. And many people think Milwaukee would have beaten Boston with Chris Middleton, but Chris Middleton ended up getting hurt. And so the Celtics were able to capitalize, close them out in a Game 7, advance to the Miami Heat, close out them, and then ended up losing to the Golden State Warriors. But a, Giannis Tatum matchup would be fantastic. It would be curious to see if they actually keep this slot if Kevin Durant goes to the Celtics, because if Kevin Durant goes to the Celtics, Milwaukee and the Celtics would still be a really fun game, a really fun matchup. Obviously, Kevin Durant was a toe on the line from sending Milwaukee home on their championship run, so it just kind of would add a little more fuel to the fire, which is always a good thing, right? Like I said, anything to get people screaming at the TVs and locked in is always good television, and I think that this would do it. So this would be one of my favorite of the games. I think this one would also be one of the best like showdown games, if I'm being honest. And so, I mean, if we can get this, let's do it. But next up, Sixers and Knicks. This game I think is going to be I think the Sixers just kind of run through the Knicks. I'm not really big on the Knicks this year, to be honest. I know they got Jalen Brunson, but my concern with Jalen Brunson is that, we don't know if Jalen Brunson can be that guy, can be that number one guy, which they're paying him to be that number one guy. I mean, the dude had like an 8-game run. Like, that's great. But we've seen lots of people have runs like that, and they're not very good. We've seen lots of people have entire seasons like that, and they're not very good. I mean, Isaiah Thomas had like one of the greatest runs of a season period, and he's not even in the league. He's struggling to get on teams, stuff like that. It's sad. I mean, injuries played a role in that and stuff like that, but he was an undersized guard. Jalen Brunson is an undersized guard. Many people compare him to Donovan Mitchell, but at least Donovan Mitchell has like a 6'10 wingspan. So that also helps Donovan, and it's just, I don't know. I don't think the Knicks really have a lot going for them. The back half of the Eastern Conference isn't very stacked. So, I mean, the Knicks could get into a play-in spot or maybe even the playoffs, but I think that they're a team that it's just, they're not going to be very good. Now, if, you get Julius Randle, who becomes Julius Randle of 2 years ago, where he's that like 25-point triple-double a night guy shooting like 40% from three, then yeah, maybe they could make some noise. But I don't think he's that guy, although I don't think he was the guy from last year who was one of the worst productive players in the league. I don't think he's that guy either, but I do think he's somewhere in the middle of that. So I think that this game is going to be pretty one-sided. I mean, hopefully it's a good game, right? You want them all to be good games, but I think the Sixers just sort of run through the Knicks for this game, if this game was to happen. The Suns and the Nuggets. Now, the Nuggets should be full-fledged, healthy. They should be good to go. And I think that this is going to be a very good, exciting team. Last year, they suffered a ton of injuries, and the Nuggets made a lot of nice little upgrades, right? They got Bruce Brown. They went and got KCP. I think that those two guys are going to fit beautifully with this team as like those defensive guys out on the perimeter, guys that can knock down threes. You still have Jamal Murray, who's coming back. You got the Joker. You got Aaron, who is going to be that guy again, right? I mean, he especially towards the back half really looked like he could be a solid contributor. Aaron Gordon, he is the high flyer, but he's had his moments of like solid brilliance with this team. And I think that hopefully that continues to improve. They continue that chemistry. Michael Porter Jr., he's shown that he has potential to be a star in this league. He just can't stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, the Nuggets, I think, will be really good. Now, as for the Suns, I mean, if the Suns can be the Suns, then, of course, Suns are going to be a really good team. This should be another really good matchup. Personally, I really think the Suns are going to take a step back. I don't think they're going to be terrible or anything like that, but I don't think they're going to be one of the top teams in the West. I could see them actually being maybe the 4 seed, something like that, because I think, one, Chris Paul's only getting older. There's all the locker room drama with Jay Crowder. DeAndre Ayton basically quit on your team in Game 7 and refused to go back in. How bought in is he going to be? It's just, I don't know. I just think the Suns are going to have a lot of problems that they're going to have to navigate through. But, I mean, if they've shown that they are a really good team when they want to be or when they can be. So to see this matchup, I think could be really good. I would have to guess that I would probably run with the Nuggets being the better of the two teams this year, personally. But you never know. I think that this could end up being a really good game, a really good matchup overall. See Joker, Ayton, Murray, Booker, Chris Paul, Gordon, things like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun, a really good matchup, and we'll see how that goes. Warriors, Grizzlies. You got the marquee matchup, the revenge for the Grizzlies as they were eliminated to the Western Conference Finals. So it's the semifinals for the Western Conference. You get that matchup again. You get Ja versus Steph. There was a lot of questions of what would have happened if Ja didn't get hurt. Would they have been able to pull it off and win? I still think that they would have lost. But there's some people out there that believe if Ja didn't get hurt, it would have been a different series. But this will be an interesting matchup because I really think that this is going to be a blowout game one way or the other. And I could be completely wrong, but there's usually that one Christmas Day blow-up game, where it's just oh man, this team's down 30. And I could see either of these teams blowing the other one out. I could see the Grizzlies young, hungry, we want to show that what we could have done, what we should have done last year, that kind of thing. They come out, they're balling. They beat the Warriors by 25 or something and, try to do that statement game where the Warriors, they're coming off of the hangover of a championship. They don't care. I mean, they still care about the regular season, but not as much as a Grizzlies team that's out trying to prove themselves. I could just see the Grizzlies just beating the Warriors by 20. Or the other way. The Warriors come out, it's Christmas Day, it's prime time. They just shooting the lights out. Grizzlies can't keep up. Maybe the lights are too bright a little bit. I could definitely. I think this is going to be the game where we're all wow, that was a very quick game. Where it's just a total blowout. That's probably my guess for the Warriors-Grizzlies game. Obviously, you want them all to be great. You want them all to be entertaining. You want them all to be fun. But I think this will be the one blowout. And I think it'll be the Grizzlies that blow out the Warriors. Again, that doesn't mean that the Grizzlies are better or anything. They're just at different places in the team's current state, right? And then, of course, lastly, the Lakers and the Mavericks. Now, LeBron, Luka is must-see TV. That's primetime. Lakers is always going to get a Christmas Day game. LeBron is always going to get a Christmas Day game. And luckily for the NBA, you have both of them on the same team, right? You have LeBron on the Lakers. Luka is another one of those guys that's always going to get a Christmas Day game. And what better way to put Luka against LeBron? Again, just like the Celtics game, this is the game that I could see changing. Although if they do get Kyrie, maybe a Mavs-Lakers matchup would still be a lot of fun, would still be really good. But I do think, personally, if Kevin Durant was to go to the Celtics and Kyrie goes to the Lakers, I think that'll end up being the matchup. But, let's say Kevin Durant goes to another team and Kyrie goes to the Lakers. Because, again, Lakers seem to be the only team that want Kyrie. Then I think they likely keep this what it is. And then you get the LeBron Luka. That's the promo. That's, the Christmas Day advertisement. That's the showdown. And these two have always balled out against each other. It's always been a fun showdown. The last time these two played, it was Austin Reeves, I believe, hit the game winner. So that was an exciting game. And I could see these two just going at it on Christmas. And hopefully, whatever the Lakers team is, hopefully they figured it out by Christmas, right? Hopefully we're not fighting and we're, 5 games under 500 or something. Hopefully we're kind of in the swing of things. We're getting ready to, get closer to the back end of the season and get close to the trade deadline, kind of make whatever moves you need to do. But hopefully we are in a good position where we're competitive and the Lakers aren't just getting blown out by the Mavs by 30. So this game, to be honest, I'm curious to see how it goes. Now, LeBron usually beats Luka and the Mavs, but I don't know. It's just, where are the Lakers going to be wise? There's so many questions with the Lakers. Now, they do have basically an entirely new team, a younger team, new coach, new everything, new systems, all of that. So it's hard to judge how close this game is going to be and how good this game is going to be currently. Now, dominant Anthony Davis, dominant LeBron James should be enough to get the job done. If you can get Westbrook to be serviceable, then that's all the more likely that they beat the Mavs. But Dallas is just coming off of a Western Conference Finals. And, they're going to be high. They're going to be riding the season. I expect Luka to have an MVP level season. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Mavs just basically come out blazing. Luka tries to show hey, your time is expired, old man. It's my turn. I'm the league now. I could see something like that playing off. But one last little thing that I want to touch on is a lot of people are upset that the Knicks and the Lakers are in the Christmas Day games. First off, the Lakers, they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Of course, they're going to be in a Christmas Day game. But secondly, they're the Lakers. Lakers always get a Christmas Day spot. Same thing with the Knicks. No matter how bad these two teams are, they always seem to get a Christmas spot because it's must-see TV. Look, the job of the NBA is for ratings, viewership. And the Lakers and the Knicks are always going to draw viewership. That's always what's going to happen. The advertisement, you need the big market teams. You need the teams that have the majority of the fan base in the NBA. These two teams got it. They're going to be in the Christmas Day matchups, any marquee matchups. You're going to see these two teams playing it out, duking it out. It's just how it goes because they want the butts and seats and the eyes on the TV. The Lakers also have stars. They have, whether they have Westbrook or Kyrie or they have, just let's say they just have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. People like to watch LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're going to want to see LeBron versus Luka. Of course they're going to have that matchup. Now the Knicks, again, there's a lot of excitement around Jalen Brunson. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? The Knicks always get a lot of ratings. How is this Knicks team going to gel? Are they going to make a deal? Will they have Donovan Mitchell, right? If they go and get Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, again, must-see TV. Got these two guys that you can kind of, promote and show box office. It's just how it works. At the end of the day, the NBA is a business, and they need to get views. And the best way to get views is to have the Lakers and Knicks slotted at some point during the day on Christmas. I think Philly just runs through the Knicks. If they get Donovan Mitchell, maybe it's a different story. But even then, I don't really understand the logic for the Knicks going after Donovan Mitchell. But that's a story for another day. Sticking with this, it's just, I think that's going to be one of the easy dispatch games. I think the Sixers just kind of cruise through that game and end up pulling it off. Lakers, I'm still curious. I'm curious to see how are they going to fit. How is the structure going to do? Again, as always, those are my thoughts and opinions, and I want to hear yours. Let me know down in the comment section below. But one last little thing that we'll touch on, I'll make early predictions. Now, obviously, this could change if the lineups change or the Celtics end up with if they end up with like Kevin Durant or the Lakers end up with Kyrie Irving or something like that. But to give you a thought of who I think would win this day, let's do some early predictions. I think the Bucks win, the Sixers win. I think the Nuggets win. I'm going to say the Mavericks with Luka, and then I think the Grizzlies. So Grizzlies, Mavs, Nuggets, Sixers, Bucks. That's my early prediction. Like I said, it might change, especially even if the Lakers are really good. But I just look at the Mavs. I think Luka's going to have a big year this year. I think he's going to be playing at an MVP level. I think Christian Wood and JaVale McGee are huge underrated upgrades that they got. I think this team's going to be hungry. They were just in the Western Conference Finals. I think that they believe that they can get back, and I think that they're going to show out where the Lakers, they might not be as incentivized, although it just depends on how good of a team it is. Bucks, same thing. I think Bucks are, again, the best team in the Eastern Conference. I think they end up pulling it out. They end up just beating the Celtics. I think that might be the best game we see, though. Sixers, I just think, are going to blow through them. That's an easy one. Nuggets, like I said, I think Suns take a step back. I think Nuggets take a step forward. Just with their talent that they got. They're getting everyone healthy and back. And then the Grizzlies, like I mentioned earlier, I think the Grizzlies, I think this game will mean more to them than the Warriors. You have the championship hangover, all of that stuff. So, again, Bucks, Sixers, Nuggets, Mavs, Grizzlies. That's the 5 wins that I'm going to go with. Again, love to hear your thoughts, opinions, and however you feel about it down in. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.